Rolling.
Hi, I'm Vikram Singh from Andy's Market in Taunton, and we're doing a Scotch tasting today, and we have Mr. Randall Bird with us, and with really fine products, and we just want to know a little bit more about it, Randall, and if you can answer maybe some of the questions. We have Steve, Nitish, Avi, Dilip, and Deepak behind the cameras. And tell us a little bit more about it, and that'll be great.
Well, just what's sitting on the table here are products all from the Douglas Laing family. These are hand-selected limited edition products, and we did a great tasting. We went through everything that you see here, and some people actually got a little taste of something else at the end as well. So a lot of fun, but representing the Douglas Laing products with Douglas of Drumlin Rig and Old Malt Cask. So.
Yep. Nitish, you have a question?
I mean, you said hand-selected. Is that something similar to what people refer to as independent bottling, or that's something else?
It's a part of the process. So when you say independent bottling, the majority of the distilleries in Scotland will sell what comes off their still, but before it's aged and called whiskey, to blenders. The Laing brothers and their company is a blending company. So they bought from all these different distilleries and aged the product in wood to their specifications. And we had the exciting opportunity of going back and hand selecting certain of those barrels that were supposed to be blended, but pulled them out of the whole blending lineup and bottled them independently. So these carry the Old Malt Cask or the Douglas label, but inside the bottle is Braval or Coila or Lefroy or Clynelish, different types of distilleries, Dalmore, that we can legally and acceptably put out limited editions of that distillery under our label. And that's independent bottling, and the hand selection part is the fun part of tasting through a bunch of stuff and getting to pick those things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is your relationship with each individual distillery, or do you go to like Diageo and then go to their distilleries?
Well, my background is I was trained by a bunch of the different major distillery owning companies, William Grant, Pernod Ricard, and Diageo. But what we're talking about with this is there's a huge library of the whiskeys that are samples from the casks that the Douglas brothers are going to use to make their blends. And I get to go to those sample bottles, and in some cases in Scotland, into the sample library to pick and hand select these casks. And Brad Jarvis, a gentleman that I work for and with, has done a great deal to promote independent bottling and doing cask selection as well. But at different points of my career, I've worked or been associated with different distilleries. So now I get the opportunity to fill in the blanks on all the ones that I didn't work at. So, thank you.
Now, how does one become a Scotch ambassador? I know how can you become a chemist, right? Or a doctor, or an engineer? I mean, is this more like a president, vice president, manager position, or is it more?
It's becoming more difficult. In the 90s, when I became fascinated why all these had the same basic ingredients in production and all tasted differently, nobody could answer that. So I started to get involved probably at the early part of the whole whiskey boom, and Scotch whiskey was just where I kind of dialed in and did a lot of my work. And the answer is you do it with a lot of research, which is code word for drinking, and sampling. But at the end, you know, I think a lot of more people, now that it's so popular at the peak of it, they're trying to get into the game. But you're going to have some credentials and be able to talk knowledgeably about it. And I think a lot of people read a lot or get internet knowledge, but some hands-on experience would help.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I mean, malted barley, yeast, water, and we had 13 different Scotches we tasted today, and each and every one of them tasted so different.
Yes.
And the fun thing is, even the ones that we tasted, you add a drop of water or two, and it tastes
changed it
even
again.
more different. So maybe we even had, you know, we could say 26 different Scotches. That's what the perception was, you know, at least. Anybody else has any questions, Dilip? Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was a great fun, and yeah, there's many more
to do
schedule. Yeah,
very soon. Thank you again.